Looking to improve your life, brush up on your personal growth techniques? You are in the right place. Welcome to Life's Little Lessons with your host, author of Designing Your Own Destiny, Kevin A. Dunlap.
Hello, everybody. This is Kevin Dunlap, and welcome back to Life's Little Lessons. This is a show that specializes with entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and other people of public interest. And today is no doubt somebody that's going to actually fit a few of those categories. And it's a lady I just met about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago at a health event where we had a mutual friend. Her name is Cara Brotman. She's been a raw vegan chef. She's an author of multiple different cookbooks. She's been working on one now. And she's also has her own video series that she's launching on YouTube and as well as other channels. So I just wanted to bring to everybody today to Cara Brotman. Cara, welcome to our show today.
Thank you so much. It's so lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Kevin.
My pleasure. It's good seeing you again. You look lovely house that you're in right there.
Thank you.
Well, Cara, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is it that you do? Who are you? And what is it that you do?
Well, I was born 49 years ago, and I grew up around the food that has gotten so many people into trouble now. And I had 2 best friends that lived next door to each other. And I remember we were all 10 years old and I wasn't allowed to have any dessert or sweets or Twinkies or Coca-Colas or soda pops. And my girlfriends did, and I was so jealous, but there's something that stuck in my mind. They were both plump, chubby little girls, and I was always very skinny. And I went to their house one day and they were eating this. They had all this candy and zingers and just sweets, and they ate it. And I watched them, and then I watched them sit there and go, "Oh, I don't feel so good." And, that was my first, at 10 years old, that was my first realization how food affects your body, either bad or good. And, growing up as a child under such healthy circumstances, my mother was a vegetarian. It was instilled in me, and I love it because at 18, I was off on my own, and I felt like I was a somebody in like a foreigner in a strange land. Oh, back then, that was 1988. Healthy wasn't on people's radars back then, but it was on mine. And I don't know, I just knew that, I felt great. I just couldn't believe how it affected me. And you know what, Kevin, I have carried that diet with me, that way of eating with me for the past 40 years. Okay. I feel the same way I do today as I did when I was 16. No different. My body looks identical. And I'm 50 this year. It's just crazy. So the proof is in the pudding, So I just want to share this feeling and teach people, as many people as I can, that there's an amazing other way of living, that women, we don't have to get frumpy and get big tummies and lose interest in sex when we turn 40, It's not like that. I'm almost 50 and nothing has changed except one thing I've noticed. It's a little harder for me to keep a flat stomach. That's the only difference I have noticed in 50 years. And I think I know that is because I keep dairy products out of my stomach, out of my body, and meat and all the bad stuff. And I am on a plant-based diet. My diet consists of 95% plants, and that's how it's been since I was small.
And again, I do know our metabolism slows down as we get older, so I can understand what you're saying back there. But yes, I met you a couple of weeks ago, and you were in a tight dress, and you looked absolutely amazing.
I was actually chubby to myself. I keep a high bar for myself, but yeah. And it's just so sad seeing so many people around me suffering. I was just talking to a 40-year-old guy the other day, and he said, "I hurt all over." Isn't that sad? He's only 40. It's from the foods he's eating. Mm-hmm. But So I wrote a cookbook, Love on a Plate, and it is replicas, healthy replicas of all the comfort food and junk food that we've grown up with and that we are addicted to and that we love. And, I know a lot of people are addicted to food. That's called food addiction. And companies have their scientists finding new ways to hook people onto this food. But unlike any other addiction out there, I think food is the best addiction you could have because unlike any other addiction out there, there is a healthy alternative that people can use rather than the bad food that's killing them. Good food, plant-based foods, healthy foods.
Well, and speaking of that, we were talking before the show that you opened up your own restaurant at one time. What kind of restaurant was it?
That was a raw restaurant. Yeah. I told you I was involved in a class action lawsuit and I knew what I was going to do with my money. And yeah, they say in San Francisco, especially in San Francisco, in big cities, you need at least $250,000 to open a restaurant. And then chances are that restaurant's going to fail. Not with raw food and the way I prepare it or my brother. We opened 2 of our restaurants on $40,000 in San Francisco, the Bay Area. And the first one, we were there for 6 years. We were doing great business. It's just so funny how you open a restaurant on a shoestring budget and you've got celebrities coming. And it just goes to show you how many people, they want to be healthy. They just don't know what to do. Or they think, what's, rabbit food? I'll never want to change my way of eating because I don't like, I enjoy food too much. Again, that's why I wrote the cookbook, because we've got pizza, pasta, sushi, rice dishes, Indian, Mexican, Thai, and nothing went in my book that wasn't amazing. Or, like on my menu in the restaurant, I didn't want anything to be served unless it was a trick. Like just, oh my goodness, I love blowing people's minds with their taste buds, through their taste buds.
You've been the owner or partial owner of multiple restaurants.
Well, yeah, my family had 2 other restaurants that I was involved with. I was chef. Yeah.
And what did you go to chef school?
My father's kitchen. My father owned Italian gourmet restaurants, and it's so sad. The mob would go there. He was in Vegas, and it's so sad seeing all these guys having heart attacks. Well, not only the mob, but, he had a gourmet restaurant here in Vegas that in the 70s, it was the only fancy restaurant that stayed open till 3 a.m. So all the performers back then, Lola Falana, Dizzy Gillespie, Bill Cosby, Frank Sinatra, the piano player, what's his name? Liberace.
Oh, Liberace.
Liberace, they all flocked to my father's restaurant. But they were all overweight, they're all unhealthy, and my poor father passed away at age 63 of prostate cancer because of his food choices. Some people, they just don't want to change with their food. Others, they get a health scare and it's enough to change them. Others, they're like, look, if it involves me changing my diet, I don't care about the internal bleeding that's going on in my body. Just don't take away my cheeseburgers. People actually think that like that. It's sad.
And if somebody did want to go from a meat-based regimen, what would you recommend that they do first? Like go vegetarian or go raw, to make the transition, or do it slowly, or do it
right? I don't know. It's a personal thing. Each body is different. Some people can do it, cold turkey. Then others, they get into it and then they get scared because their body starts to detox, because for the first time they're not giving themselves bad food and they're giving themselves healing foods. And then the detox part scares them because bad things start coming out of there, coming up to the surface. It's leaving their body, and then they get scared. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting sick. And they do get sick, but it's their detoxing and they don't understand and they get scared. I would say slowly. Slowly sounds like the right way to do it. But I would definitely start cutting out animal products immediately because I don't see any reason for animal products. The lady that gave me my facial today said, well, I do need, I'm low on iron, so I do have to eat meat 3 times a week. And I was there for a relaxing thing. I didn't want to get into it with her, but I find I call BS on that. When people say, no, my blood type is this, so I do need to eat meat. They don't need to eat meat. And it's amazing how they look and feel if they took it out of their diet for a month. I think it's easier to just get rid of the dairy and animal products first. And you just, what a change people would feel. And I think that would give them momentum to continue on. See how much, well, gee, this feels great. Let me go further. Let's see how much better I can feel.
And because I know of another friend of mine that I haven't talked to her in a few years, but she was talking about how she stays so thin is that she gave up carbs, dairy products, and red meat. What she did, and I can see if somebody doesn't eat a lot of red meat or chicken or whatever, it's just start weaning yourself off of those products and just see how
Right.
you feel, and then and go as far as you want to go.
Exactly.
Okay. And what tell me about because one of the things you were talking about that you are also now shooting some training videos or some cooking videos. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, right. I've always loved to watch the Food Network and just sit there and watch it when I had TV because it's just so, and it was kind of boring. It's just the same old thing, eggs, dairy, sugar, flour. And it was still kind of fun to see, how they put the food together. Well, now that I have the ability to do my own recipe videos, I just love to make, I know people watch it just to watch. They don't have any intention of making it, but then I do know some people do want to make it. So I have both of those people in mind, and I like to, one, blow their minds, and two, show them step by step, make it as easy as possible for them. And I have never seen anybody, I'm not bragging, but I have never seen anybody's recipe channel with, other than mine, with more people saying, oh my goodness, I made your cashew cauliflower. It's amazing. Oh my God, I made it. They all make it, and their minds are blown. If you go on my YouTube videos, you'll see it. It's just amazing. And I just love sharing, it's, my experience is chefing. Like I said, my father was an Italian chef, and I have 3 siblings, and all 4 of us have been in the restaurant business at one point or another in our lives. And 3 of us have stuck with it. 3 of us are still in the business. It's just in our blood. Nobody taught me how to prepare food. I was chopping garlic at 6 years old in my dad's kitchen. It's something that my parents taught me, which is even better. I'm glad. I'm glad I didn't go to, let me put in the computer. Yeah, culinary school.
Do you have what is your YouTube channel in case people want to watch some of your videos?
Oh, it's Marcus with a K, Rothkrans. And you just put that in the YouTube search engine and then hit recipes under categories and get ready to have your taste buds blown away.
I would be very interested in watching some of these videos myself.
Oh, yes.
How long are they usually about?
They're anywhere from 8 minutes to 25 minutes long.
I do. The TV shows, the half-hour show is about 23 minutes.
Right. That's true. But you know what? As far as YouTube goes, I see some other girls doing recipe videos, and they waste so much time gabbing about things that aren't relevant that I forward it. And the recipe doesn't start till 10 minutes in. And personally myself, I respect people's time. I don't want them watching and being bored. My content is, it's concentrated. It's more quality than it's quantity. I want just the good stuff, packed as much good stuff in as much short amount of time, because I even say that in the end of the videos. Thank you for sharing some of your precious time with me. I know your time is precious, but
And that's true because the average YouTube watcher has a shorter attention span, so they are going. It's good that you get to the meat of it rather than just
Right.
all the fluff at the beginning. Because if you're trying to fill a 23-minute spot and you're going to shoot an 8-minute video, well, the other 17 minutes are going to be, or 15 minutes are going to be just fluff. So
Yeah, but then again with my video, you know, I'm a little older than a lot of these girls that are doing videos. I've been doing this a lot longer than they are, and I'm a lot wiser than they are because of my age. So when I do talk, I talk about the most interesting things concerning things of the you know, concerning dishes and things that you could do and tips and stuff. It's just, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but what I am best at is preparing healthy food, and I love it. And I that's the only thing I brag about. You know, everything else I kind of a little self-conscious about myself. But as far as the recipe videos and my cooking, I feel confident, and I'm very proud of it.
and you're working on a new cookbook right now. I know you've got a couple already out there, but you're working on a new one.
Yes,
And
it's just bringing it to a whole new level. You know, things always, you know, constantly things are changing in every aspect except for raw foods. I don't see new raw food dishes being invented. Like, you know, we brought pizza, pasta, sushi, rice dishes. We're taking it a step further. I am like just hellacious spices, concoctions that have never been done before, you know. I'm just really excited about it.
that's good. So it sounds. I've not really eaten raw before, so I would be. I would love to taste some of your recipes. You know, if you get a chance, and maybe give you reviews or things like that, just to help out a little.
Oh yeah, I have a commercial on YouTube. It's called healthycookbook.com. And the commercial is just so mind-blowing. It's a little dramatic, but it is dramatic.
Well, we have to go and check that out as well, and put it in the description below of this video once we launch the episode. Okay. And you also mentioned something about you're renovating or revamping your kitchen right now, just to make it.
Yes, I actually just moved into this house because of the square footage, because we needed square footage, and the basement had a shooting range in it. And it was just so sad to get rid of the shooting range, but we needed space, not a shooting range. So down there in the basement, the construction men are currently creating a fake kitchen set. I could do it in my kitchen here. It's great, but when I went on my book tour for my first cookbook, we were doing all these morning shows all over the country, and it was just so cool the way they push the kitchen set out and then just wheel it back in. And that's when I fell in love with that concept. So, this is what I do full time. This is my, part of my living. So it's good to have. And it's inexpensive, it is, to build a kitchen set downstairs. So that's what we're doing for the future YouTube videos. And so that's very exciting. So right now I'm just in developing recipes for the when the kitchen is ready, so we can start filming mind-blowing, unique recipes.
Sounds amazing. So what does the future hold for you? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to get your own cooking channel or?
It's hard. People talk about raw food chefs, talk about getting a cooking show, but I don't know where they'd get it. It wouldn't be on Food Network because it goes against what every other chef on Food Network does, and they would never have a raw food show. But I did tell my business partner, if somebody offered me a chance to do a vegan cooking show, I would jump at it in a heartbeat, because even though I'm a great raw food chef, oh gosh, it's such a shame to not showcase this cooking skill. Oh, I love to cook. Vegan, vegetarian, of course.
Right.
But the things I could make. So, if somebody offered me a vegan show, which, we're out there, we have we're sending out, feelers for this. But if it didn't happen, that's fine too. I'm reaching so many people through YouTube. It's wonderful.
Well, yeah, YouTube is so viral, and it's evergreen, so you don't have to wait until the next episode comes up. Or obviously, if you see a show, you have to be waiting on reruns and stuff. You just have your show right there, so you can watch everything from start to finish. That's having YouTube channel, and you're building your online fan base, and it can be anywhere in the world. You don't know who's watching. I mean, so it could be somebody down in Malaysia watching your show.
Right. I love the internet for that.
Yeah, the internet is absolutely amazing. Give some advice to our listeners there. And when you were starting out on your own restaurants, what would you advise anybody that's looking to start a restaurant, since it's been in your family for you and two of your siblings and your father and the time for
I would tell them, don't do it. It's the worst mistake of your life. I say, you know what? What if I had somebody that constantly abused me, didn't care about me, made a slave out of me, and never paid me? That's the restaurant business. That's how I like in the restaurant business to me. I was not getting much money. I was working my butt up. But you know what? It's different with raw foods. I think if you're going to open up a cooked food restaurant, and nowadays with all these competition, so much competition, restaurants everywhere, I wouldn't do it unless your food is out of this world. But if it's a raw food restaurant, if you want to open a raw food restaurant, you better have some good recipes and make raw food. Do not give it a bad name. But I think raw food restaurants, they always do good. People travel long distances for raw food restaurants. It's a hard business. I don't know, Kevin, it is so tough, the restaurant business. I feel like I excelled in it because I've been around it since I was an infant. My father has always owned restaurants, and we were always in it. It's like it's in my blood. But if I didn't, I would be concerned about somebody opening a restaurant. It's hard. I read a book about opening restaurants 30 years ago. It said it is the hardest industry, biggest sacrifice. You don't get any time to yourself, no sleep. You're working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. It said, if we still haven't talked to you out of opening a restaurant, then turn the page. But the first page, it did everything to talk you out of opening a restaurant. The name of the book was How to Open a Restaurant. I don't know. So you're asking me, what would I tell somebody? Rethink that, unless you've got some great recipes and a great location.
Yes.
As far as our restaurants, my restaurant that I opened myself was in a strip mall that closed down at like 9 o'clock across the street from a university. And people came from far and wide to come to the restaurant because it was a raw food restaurant. And it was really good. And we were in the newspaper, and it was so funny because the Chinese guy who owns the Chinese restaurant next door to us, asked the mayor that was there, he said, I have been here for 15 years. I've never had an article written about me in the paper. She's been here 1 month. Why? And, he said, well, she's got that Hey Myrtle effect. And I said, what's a Hey Myrtle effect? He goes, the man's reading the paper. He sees your restaurant, the article, and he goes, Hey Myrtle, come over here. Look at this. So that we had that, and word of mouth was the best publicity. A lady came into my restaurant. She said, I went to Whole Foods and I said hi to the lady, and she said, hi, how are you? Oh, I went to this new restaurant, Raw. Oh, it's so amazing. You should go see it. It's in that strip mall. And I said, oh, okay. So then I went into a different department and I said hi to the produce guy. And I said, what's new? Oh, you should see this restaurant I went to. Oh my goodness. And she said, well, 2 recommendations in 1 day. I'm here. Let me check it out. And so word of mouth is the best advertisement you could get.
And the only way you can do that is if you provide excellent service as well as excellent food.
That's right. And you know what she told me when I passed her table? She said, "This is the best guacamole I've ever had in my life." And I was like, that is what I want to hear. And she said, "And this is the best salad I've ever had in my life." These are magic hands.
Well, because obviously you had a lot. You obviously have a lot of love for your craft, so that.
I do. I do. I love people and I love to show them how delicious, healthy food can be.
Well, maybe I mean, and I'm sure you're actually helping people convert as well once they see
Oh,
what
yes.
you've done. Like because I know myself since I'm not a vegetarian, raw or vegan, that I look at it like because I'm not used to it, therefore I'm a little cautious on that because it's a different style. But I'm sure once people actually become familiar with it, it's like, you know, what, this is not as scary as we thought it was. And and funny thing is, I know more and more of my people that I know, my friends and acquaintances, they're becoming vegetarian or even vegan. So I mean, it's a higher percentage, much higher than I had, than say even 5 or 7 years
You know, what I wanted to add was, even though the restaurant business is a killer, and, in the beginning, there was no money, hard work, no time to myself, I loved it. I would have rather been in that restaurant working my butt off than at a job that I didn't like, making a regular paycheck. My mother always told me when I was in my teens and early 20s, she said, "Why don't you get with UPS so that you have a good pension plan when you're older? Or go to work for this casino." And the thought of just having a regular paycheck, the same amount every time, going to the same repetitive job, I was terrified of it. I did not want, I know this is entrepreneurial show too. I just didn't want to do it. I can't work for somebody. I've done it before and I do a wonderful job, but I hate it. I'm miserable. And I know a lot of other people are miserable going to work too. My own brother, he was a manager at the art house, no longer, so I can say this. He was staying at my mom's when he moved back to Vegas. And my mom goes, "Leo, your alarm went off." And he's pushing snooze till the last 10 minutes that he has to leave the house. That's no life. That showed me he is miserable in his job. I mean, it's just so sad that people, have to go to work every day doing a job they hate. I just wish more people could find something that they're good at, and like I said, even though I wasn't making that much money, it was still more gratifying to me than when I was working, making a weekly paycheck.
So for you budding entrepreneurs out there, just follow what Kara's saying there. Is by just following your passion, regardless of what it is. Even if it is opening a restaurant. And like I said, I know that's one of the most difficult businesses people can do. Even if you're doing a franchise, it can still be a very difficult process. But yeah, whatever your love is, as long as you love it, then like you said, when you had your first restaurant, you weren't making that much money. You were working extremely long hours, but you made some money, but hearing the feedback like this is the best salad I ever had, or this is the best guacamole I ever had. That to you, it's just I'm assuming it's just as rewarding as a paycheck. It's that being respected by your peers.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Kara, we're running out of time here. Are there any last words or any parting words that you would like to give anybody that's maybe starting a business, regardless of what it is, or possibly opening a restaurant, or following their dream, or they do have that 9 to 5 job that they hate? What any last words that you have for somebody that's
I would just find a passion, find a niche that's not out there, or do something that, I swear, if I didn't have the restaurant business before I went to work or a 9 to 5, I was a cleaning girl at age 18, off and on. And then I joined my boyfriend's mother cleaning houses. I mean, you make your own, find something that you like, like that you can make your own hours. Cleaning houses. I mean, sorry, but that's rewarding. That was very rewarding to me, cleaning houses. I did my own schedule. I didn't have a boss hanging over me. something that you're independent, that you're independent doing, and there's so many things out there that are, opening up now, opportunities like Uber, my mother drives for Uber. There's so many things that people can do without finding a 9 to 5 or.
Yeah. And so you go out there and start discovering some of your passions. I mean, follow what Cara says, or give me a call. Go to my website at kevinadunlap.com. I do offer a free initial consultation session for any new business client. I am, being a business coach myself. Or follow some of your passions, like when you go to Cara's cooking channel, and I'll leave that in the description below. Just follow that dream, follow that passion, go after that. I mean, otherwise, the worst thing that can happen, in my opinion, is if you're turning 50 years old and you're looking back with regret of not going after that passion that you want.
Right.
I mean, it's better to get past that fear than to live with regret of not taking that step.
And one more tip also, and it worked for me several times, is, and I know people know this, but they need to know that it works. You got to write down your goals. If you want to change your life, write it down what you want, and then write down the steps that you need to take to get there. I wrote it on my large mirrored closet door in magic marker a few years ago, my goals that I wanted to achieve, and I achieved it in 1 year. I was so proud of myself, and I said, my goodness, just writing down your goals in a place where you can always see that, and then the steps needed to achieve it, it works. It's mind-blowing. Well, it worked for me, and it will work for you if you do it right.
And I'm going to take what you said that one step further to help you even more be able to achieve the goals. And this is part of one of my first season, I guess over a year ago, is to actually share those goals with other people. So now you can start having some accountability.
Right. That's a good one too. I'm going to remember that.
Well, because it worked out. In 2010, in May 2010, I wanted to lose a lot of weight. I wanted to go from 240 pounds to 170 pounds in 3 months. And at that time, I was fairly new on Facebook. So on day one on Facebook, I go, okay, everybody, today's day one of P90X. Where I am. Tomorrow I get to do this. And then like a day 5, it's like, God, I hate jumping, wacky jacks. Because other people would enjoy this. I didn't like wacky jacks either that have done the same program. But I was posting daily just so to, hey, keep me motivated, keep me inspired. I had 600 or 700 friends back then. So I had essentially like 700 accountability points.
Wow.
So if your goal is say you're gonna be writing your cookbook, you may say, yeah, this cookbook is going to have, let's say, 75 recipes. I'm on number 58 right now. This would involve, whatever some of the ingredients are, because I still got 15 or 17 more to go.
That's lovely, Kevin. That's a good one.
So maybe, take that. Maybe that will help you on some of your other goals, your cookbook or your cooking channel.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
My pleasure. And Cara, it's been great having you here. Is there any way that if the viewers wanted to find out more about you, how they can find you? Would it be mainly on YouTube, or is that the best place?
Or they can go to my Facebook page. I'm always posting daily amazing facts that people don't know. I'm under Cara B-E-E on Facebook. And I post recipes there as well, and motivational things, and picture my recipes. Yeah. So Cara B, CARABEE.
Okay, so it's facebook.com/CARABEE on the Facebook platform. And I assume just do a quick friend request or like page or whatever that.
I have it open so everybody can see it's set to public.
Okay.
Just in case, but they can send a friend request or whatever. Follow.
Awesome. Well, Cara, it's been nice having you on the show today, and for those of you that are watching the video, a phenomenal background in the house that she's in right now. For those of you that are only on the audio, this is a great location. She's building the mock kitchen down in the basement. If you're the same for your future shows as well. And if you're doing raw shows, you don't really need that much of a kitchen. So.
Right. Very true. It's easy. I'll have you over when I have my holiday feast in a few months.
Oh, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, I would love to have you. I just told my facial girl, I want to have you over. I'm going to have my annual feast.
Well, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Aw, my pleasure.
Well, everybody have a great day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Life's Little Lessons with your host, author of Designing Your Own Destiny, Kevin A. Dunlap. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit kevinadunlap.com, facebook.com/kevinadunlap.author, and on Twitter @Kevin A. Dunlap. We'll catch you on the next episode of Life's Little Lessons.